Got it right, guys? Some of you did this in this pre-boards also. You created your own. खासकर you create your scanner class वाला object वो यहीं बना दिया है, वो यहाँ नहीं बनाना उसको. ठीक है, बना सकते हो but आप बनाओ नहीं. Okay. Secondly, जितने all the methods that you are going to create, those should be non-static. Only static method is going to be your main method if it is required at all. So the only static method will be your main method. So how am I going to create my this should be private, of course, and everything else should be public. That means आप जितने भी methods बनाओगे, so supposing I'm creating public void some method and it is doing something there. I'm not writing anything inside, and I'll write public void say subtract method, and I write okay. Third is the default constructor, and the default constructor is going to be q7 method, and it is doing something there. And the last one is, of course, this has to be public. Okay, and the last one is going to be public static void main method. So don't worry about string args there, so that doesn't matter there. Can you see now, Akarsh, what did I create as non-static? Every method that you are going to create in your class program is going to be non-static except for your main method. The main method is going to be static. Okay. So guys, everybody now, this is going to be the situation for any kind of a class program that you make. Any kind. Even in your real life, that when you will be making, you will probably be doing this only. Okay, there are variations there, but we don't need to worry about that anymore. यहाँ पे आपने पहला rule conventions का ध्यान रखो. So it should be class should be starting with a capital letter. Any method, any variable, they should start with a small letter. This is a constructor, so naturally it will start with a capital letter. Your instance variables that you create, give them proper data types. If the data types are not given in the question, give them proper data types, make them all private, and create only that many number of instance variables as is required, as is specified in the question. Do not create one extra, do not create one less. One extra तो फिर भी शायद माफ कर देंगे, one less तो बिल्कुल भी माफ नहीं हो सकता. Is that fine? Akash, this was your question.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. And all the methods that are specified in your question, all of them will be non-static except अगर main function दिया हुआ है तो उसको आप static function बना दो. Naturally इसमें आपको जब भी इनको call करना होगा. तो silent कर दो. Okay, so you need to create say q7, say a is equal to new q7 method and start working on whatever, say a dot sum method इसकी कॉल हो गई, a dot subtract method इसकी कॉल हो गई. Okay, does that answer your question? And I think this has given some insight into for others also. कितने लोग हैं मेरे पास अभी? Okay, Harnoor, is it fine?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. तो इसमें तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल जब भी तुम्हें कोई क्वेश्चन मिलता है ना, तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल थिंक अबाउट द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ योर एंटायर प्रोग्राम. पहले तो you know that it has to start with the class and it has to end with the class closing brace of that class. So ये closing brace को भूलना नहीं है, last वाले closing brace, because what we normally do is we simply worry about ये main function close हो गया, उसके बाद हम छोड़ ही देते हैं. We forget about this brace, so we have to worry about that. All braces should be complete. So तुमने देखा ये मैंने प्रोग्राम बना दिया है. दिस प्रोग्राम इज अ perfectly fine program. I have not specified what this function. अच्छा एक और चीज, and which is common to all the class wale method, class wale programs, is that all the functions that you will create will be void type. Okay, they will be void type. Normally they are 100 में से 100 जो भी आते हैं वो हमेशा ऐसे ही होते हैं. उसमें ये लिखा होता है कि आप ये काम करो. So you are not supposed to, normally not supposed to pass anything, and normally not supposed to return anything. Okay, guys. Only method where you are normally supposed to pass anything is an overloaded constructor. So when you create an overloaded constructor, like I create here, suppose I want to pass it and like this. So yes, now इसी एक है जिसको मैंने पास किया है. Normally किसी को हम पास नहीं करते. Have you seen any question class वाला जिसके अंदर argument पास हो रही है? You must have done practically ना, practice करी होगी. Did you find? Prabpreet?
Sir, I do not remember, sir.
So neither do I. I don't think they ask you to pass something and it does something. It is not their way. ठीक है? Why don't we need to pass anything? Because ये जो sum function होगा ये भी इन्हीं बेचारे variables के साथ काम कर रहा होगा. The variables are already created. The subtract function is also going to work on these only. The Q7 is also going to work on these only. And this is going to work on these only, but it is going to pass this to whatever it has to do. So you understand. So all the methods that you create that are given in your question are not going to return anything. So void लगा दो आंखें बंद करके. They are normally not going to take any argument. So खाली brackets लगाओ आंखें बंद करके. Except for your overloaded constructor, शायद वो बोले कि value pass कर दो. तो वैल्यू पास करोगे तो नेचुरली आप इसको यहां से वैल्यू पास कर दोगे. समथिंग लाइक दिस. ओके, डज इट मेक सेंस गाइस? एवरीबॉडी?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the rules create only that many number of instance variables as specified in the question. Okay, number one. Then variables, they are all supposed to be private. Methods, they are all supposed to be public. Okay, methods are going to be all non-static except main method. और क्या था rule? All methods return void except of course the constructors. Then use proper conventions, naming conventions. What else? What else did we understand here? कुछ रह गया क्या? Most take no arguments. So first of all, without argument create करने की कोशिश करो, unless it is specified there भाई इसको ये argument pass करनी है तो, otherwise सारे void type के होंगे. Do we have any question here? Guys, Prabpreet, your hand is raised.
Sir, I have questions, but not regarding this.
Okay. 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 Now, Akarsh ने जो question पूछा वो मेरे basic वाले area में आता था, so I have answered that. So I will answer anything which is in my basic wala domain. Okay. Yeah. Do we have any question? Tushar, do you have any question? Sorry. Yeah, Prabpreet.
So there are some questions which tell us to take a default constructor and initialize the instance variables. Sir, should we initialize them if it is not explicitly made clear in the question? Should we initialize them with any random value of our choice, or should we initialize them with the zeros only?
Normally a constructor वाला question में ऐसा नहीं होगा कि initialize with a random value.
Right, sir.
Okay, so if it is a default constructor, please initialize. If it is to be initialized, initialize them with zeros. Although we
Right,
know that we don't need to do that.
right, sir.
ठीक है? And if it is a constructor which is taking arguments, then pass those arguments there.
Right, sir. And sir, secondly,
You might, Prapreet, you might in the default constructor take input from the user saying, okay, please input this number, but don't take a random number there.
okay, sir. So we might take input from the user
Yes,
in the constructor
you,
itself.
that is your wish.
Understood, sir. And sir, secondly, I was looking up the internet, and just to confirm, sir, are both the wrapper classes and string class immutable and final? That's what the internet said.
Immutable, yes. Final, yes.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Final, yes. Immutable, yes. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Tushar, हाँ जी बेटा.
Sir, what are static variables and where are they used?
What are static variables and where are they used? Do we understand what instance variables are? Do we understand what instance variables are? Like you are Tushar, you are an object. Are you not? So let's have a conversation, Tushar. You are an object. Yes. You can do something. You can run, you can eat, you can write, you can read, you can do multiple things. These are all doing things. Can we consider them as methods?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then if I say Tushar dot eat method, so Tushar, that means I want to execute an eat method using Tushar as the object. But if I say Pratik dot drink function or Pratik dot read function, what is it going to do? The read or the eat function is going to be work on Pratik as an object. Okay. Now you've understood what an object is. You are an object. You basically have two things. One is actually the what you can do, and one is the values that you are stored with you. That means if I ask you what is your name, there must be some variable inside Tushar which says the name is Tushar. The class is class 10. Code is ICSE, something like that. Okay, so this is basically Tushar's name, Tushar's class, Tushar's father's name, Tushar's residence. These belong to Tushar only, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, suppose Pratik is also an object. He also has a name, a class, a father's name, an address, or something like that. He has his own values. You have your own values. Okay, so these kinds of variables which are actually storing values for different objects, we call them as instance variables. They belong to an instance. The name which belongs to Tushar is Tushar, containing Tushar. And the name which is belonging to Pratik, it stores Pratik. So both of them are different. But if I ask you, what is the name of your school? The name of your school is St. Stephen's School, Chandigarh. Now, don't you think Saint Stephen's School Chandigarh does not actually belong to Tushar alone? It also belongs to Pratik. It also belongs to Jivanjot. It also belongs to Harnoor. It also belongs to Prapreet Singh. ये different तो नहीं है सभी के? Do you understand this, Tushar?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. So the values which are common to all the objects, those are stored into variables which are called as static variables. Okay, so the static variable is created only once. It doesn't matter whether I create 100 objects or 1000 objects. That variable is only going to be once. Do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now tell me, an instance variable is created. When do you think it is created? An instance variable? An instance variable, when is it created? When did Tushar get his name? When he was born?
When he was, yes, sir.
When he was born. Before birth, say 10 years before your birth, did you have a name? You were not there, so your name was not there. But when the school was created, for example, Saint Stephen School जब create हुआ था, suppose उस time उसके कोई भी student नहीं थे. Don't you think the school already had a name at that time? Name तो होगा ना? अभी स्कूल में
Yes,
बच्चे
sir.
स्टूडेंट्स नहीं आए, बट स्कूल का नाम तो था. सो स्टैटिक वेरिएबल्स जो होते हैं, they don't actually need objects to be created. They are created even before the objects are created. When objects are created, instance variables are also created. So let me just take this small example. अगर यहाँ पर मैं एक static int m करके एक वेरिएबल बना देता हूँ, से g करके एक वेरिएबल बना देता हूँ. So what is going to happen is, suppose I have not created any object of this particular class. मैंने कुछ भी नहीं बनाया, मैंने main function ही बनाया हुआ है बस. Have I created any object of this particular class? I have not created any object. What is going to happen is, this g variable will automatically be created. Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the moment I create an object, say q7, say s is equal to new q7 method, like this. Ab I have created an instance called s. Automatically these instance variable will be created for s. And if I create another one, for example, if I say t is equal to new q7 method, so what is going to happen is, now the t, another instance, another object is going to be created, and uske package में abcd फिर से create हो जाएगा. So how many variables do you think have been created? We have g, which was created earlier, ये वाला. उसके बाद हमने s वाला ऑब्जेक्ट बनाया, और s वाले ऑब्जेक्ट के साथ a b c d करके चारों वेरिएबल्स बन गए. उसके बाद हमने t करके ऑब्जेक्ट बनाया, और उसके अंदर a b c d करके चारों वेरिएबल्स बन गए. Can you see what is happening? These four a b c d are actually belonging to the variable, to the object s. These a b c d are belonging to the object t, but the g variable is common to both. Have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have gone beyond whatever you were supposed to know, but anyway, to give you an idea, if suppose St. Stephen's School Chandigarh wants to change the name to St. Stephen's School Mohali, what do I need to change? I need to change only the static variable there, the name of the school. And every object will actually access the same one. So that means every student of the school will get a new school name now. Okay.
So, sir, static variables must be initialized.
They need not be initialized. No, they just work like an instance variable only. ठीक है, उनको इनिशियलाइज, जैसे इनको इनिशियलाइज करने की जरूरत नहीं होती, इसको भी नहीं होती, वो ऑटोमेटिकली जीरो इनिशियलाइज हो जाता है. हाँ, यूज करने से पहले आप यूज तो करोगे, उसको इनिशियलाइज तो करोगे.
Yes, sir.
Yes, guys, good questions, very good questions that have come up today. Akarsh and Tushar, thank you so much. Prapreet?
So otherwise, if we are asked what is JVM, Java Virtual Machine, what should be the definition written?
Java Virtual Machine is the runtime environment. Basically, what what is a machine actually? Machine हम किसको बोलते हैं? Machine is the one that you're working on right now. ठीक है, तुम्हारे पास अगर लैपटॉप है, it is a physical machine which has a physical processor and a physical RAM and a physical storage devices and stuff like that. We call them as physical machines. All right. A Java virtual machine is the software component of Java, which is actually required to run the program. The program runs using that Java virtual machine, which is not actually a machine. It is basically the runtime environment inside which the Java code executes.
Right,
And it
sir.
is and it is um, because of this particular environment that Java programs are considered as robust, and whatever properties you say, they are secure and stuff like that, isn't it? So it is because of JVM, the runtime environment that. Okay, you were saying something?
So, sir, maybe define it as Java Virtual Machine as an abstract or software machine, which is a part of the JRE Java runtime environment,
Yes.
which interprets the bytecode, which acts as the object code for this particular machine, and then executes it.
And executes it. Yes. ठीक है. तुम ये समझ सकते हो, एक्चुअल रनिंग तो तुम्हारी हार्डवेयर पे ही हो रही है, because it is not it doesn't have any processor or anything, this Java virtual machine, but it is basically what you said is correct. It is basically interpreting the bytecode which is already been generated. It is interpreting and executing. Final execution naturally has to be done by the hardware itself. Okay.
Right, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Any other question, guys? We have 3 minutes left. Ojesh, do we have any question?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. All right. Tomorrow also we'll have the same kind of a routine. That means quarter to 12:45 to 1:15 we'll have a class, normal class, and 1:30 to 2 o'clock we'll have the extra class. Extra class will have the basic things like this. So I think today what we did was, I mean, it was very much required by everybody. Okay, क्योंकि there are people who have still have problems with the class programs. Okay, so I'm going to send this over on WhatsApp also, so that you can read it later. Okay, this had been a good. Vanchika, do you have any question? Vanchika is this? Vanchika Bakshi. Vanchika, are you there? Okay, Vanchika doesn't want to speak.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Tushar.
Sir, why is a class regarded as a composite user-defined data type?
Composite user-defined data type. Okay. It is going to take time for me to explain it, and it is a good question to start off our discussion tomorrow. Okay? Let me just give you a small example. You have a variable. You can see the screen now.
Yes, sir.
Suppose I create this. When I've created m is a variable and int is the data type. What am I using this data type for? For creating this particular variable m. All right. Okay. So this is the data type and this is the variable being created. So when I give this command in Java, I write int m. What is Java going to do? Java is going to look for memory, some memory location, which is free. It is going to give it a name m. how many bytes it is going to give? It is going to be 4 bytes. And those 4 bytes, now how does it know 4 bytes? Because it knows that int is of 4 bytes. It also knows that in M I cannot store a fraction. Why? Because the data type says so. Is this fine, Tushar?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, when I write demo d is equal to new demo, what I have done is I have created an object now. I have created an object now of type demo. Now, can you understand the statement that I wrote earlier and the statement now? They are almost similar, isn't it? Here also I am creating something. Here also I am creating something. But what was created there was actually a primitive data which is already inbuilt in Java. I don't need to worry about creating it. But what is happening here is when I create D, it is created of type demo. Now, how is Java going to create this D object? It is going to now look for what is written in the class demo. So it looks for a class which is demo class. एंड उसके अंदर कितने इंस्टेंस वेरिएबल्स होंगे? उतने इंस्टेंस वेरिएबल्स डी में मिल जाएंगे. उसके अंदर जितने मेथड्स होंगे वो सारे मेथड्स डी को मिल जाएंगे. ओके, सो this becomes a composite data type. Why composite? Composite actually means created of many parts, something like that. So many parts are what? It has instance variables and it has methods in it. Okay, so that is why we say that a class is of a composite data type. This was primitive data type. This is composite data type. Okay, we'll continue with this tomorrow. Okay, but I think this answers your question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Hanji. All right, people have already left. Okay, guys, we'll see you tomorrow then. All of you are welcome to be with Akash. You asked a very relevant question. Thank you so much. I'm Prapreet also. And guys, we'll see you tomorrow then. Thank you for being with me.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Beta.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jeevanjot.